Hey everyone, welcome back to this channel. If you are preparing for the NPP exam, you are in the right place. In this video, I'm going to share my entire experience and give you the best tips that will save you hours of figuring out how to prepare. I will walk you through the exam format, study strategies, and important topics to focus on so that you can pass with confidence. Let's get started. So, first, we will understand the NPP exam format. The NPP exam consists of 110 multiple choice questions, and you will have 150 minutes to complete them. However, only 100 of these questions are scored. The remaining 10 are experimental and won't affect your result. So how to figure out which questions are experimental? These experimental questions are often longer and based on real case scenarios. They are randomly placed throughout the exam, so you won't know exactly which ones they are. But the tip is they are long questions. Thus, the crucial tip here is if you come across a long question that takes too much time to read and process, don't get stuck. Instead, bookmark it and move ahead and return later. Time management is key to maximizing your score. Let's talk about passing criteria for NPPE. To pass this exam, you need a minimum score of 65%. However, you won't receive your exact score. You will only be informed you have passed or failed. So instead of stressing about the exact marks, focus on solid preparation and understanding the key concepts. Now, how to prepare effectively for the NPPE. Here is a study strategy that worked efficiently for me. So this experience I'm sharing is based on what I did, but it may differ or it may be different for different people. So I'm just sharing how I prepared for this exam. So first thing is prioritize law textbook chapters. Don't start from the beginning. Instead, start from chapter 4, property laws, and continue up to chapter 20. These chapters cover essential concepts that frequently appear in the exam. For the later chapters, skim through them quickly. The same goes for the entire ethics textbook. Skim through it later in your preparation. Now I'll be sharing some of the key exam question types that I remember that were in my exam. This also differs from people to people. So I'm just sharing my experience, which questions I had got in my exam. One of the trickiest question types relates to the roles of different engineering organizations. For example, which of the following has the authority to discipline members? The correct answer is provincial associations. There were options like provincial associations, engineers Canada, and technical societies. So you need to remember role of each organization. Another example was like which of the following is not under the authority of Engineers Canada. To answer this correctly, understand the roles of each organization. In my exam, I encountered at least three questions like this. Additionally, over 50% of the questions are framed as which of the following is true or which of the following is not true. So rather than just memorizing information, I would suggest that focus on understanding the concepts. Another questions were like which of these is not a type of delivery system. If you go to chapter 10, then there are seven delivery system types, and the correct option answer was the option that didn't belong among the seven listed in this chapter. Other question was like, which of this is a type of trial plan to resolve a dispute? So the correct answer was mini trials. There were options not that were not good, and there were options which confused me in this type of question. But you need to be sure and you need to read that mini trials is one type of a trial plan to resolve a dispute. Other question was like which dispute resolution method includes negotiation between the parties. So the answer here is mediation. There were four options and the other three options were incorrect, so I marked mediation as the correct option in that. Other question was like which of the following can be considered an expert witness. So if you read section 14.6, you will get to know about the criteria which describe what an witness can be considered as, or whom can be considered as an expert witness. So you need to understand the concepts rather than just mucking up the things, right? Now, next is the practice resources and the essential NPP terms that you must know, which I found in my exam. Some key terms were like restrictive covenant, construction line, conflicts of interest, consideration, force majeure clause, waiver and estoppel, fundamental breach versus simple breach, NAFTA and AI trade agreements, product liability and duty to warn, expert witness and their role, errors and omission insurance, ESA phase 1, 2, and 3, and all four ethical theories. Regarding these all four ethical theories, they will frame some scenario and then they will ask that which theory applies here. So you need to understand the concept of these theories. And this portion is important in ethical textbook. This frequently appear in the exam, so make sure you understand them well. So mainly focus on understanding these terms rather than mugging them up. You need to understand what is errors and omissions insurance and why is it applicable, when it is applicable, for whom it is applicable, and all those things. Similarly, for all the bonds, all the insurance things and everything, right? The other tricky example was from the property law, like property is divided into which two categories, or which of the following can be considered a chattel. The options were furniture inside a house or the nail that was pounded inside a house but later removed. The answer is nail, right? Understanding these subtle distinctions will help you answer similar tricky questions in the exam. So just focus on the concept is the main theme here for me. The best resources which I found were the practice PPEexams.ca. I have mentioned the link here. NPPE practice course. I completed all 500 practice questions from this course. Main point here is none of these questions will appear in the real exam, but they definitely helped me identify key topics. Also, they provide these mind maps. So go through these mind maps because this will help in summarizing the content. Next, I did were APEGA NPPE mock test. So this mock test contained about 100 questions, and these questions were not repeated in the real exam. Maybe two or three questions were there, but the format was very similar. So you will get help, you will get comfortable with the exam format, and also the options that are available like bookmarking them and everything. So you can just go through the exam format, you can learn how to bookmark the question that you want to solve it later on and all those things. So final advice for practice test will be take this mock test 3-4 days before your exam to gauge your readiness. If you score 80% or higher, you should be well prepared for the real test. I'm telling 80% because the difficulty level of these exams I found was 3 out of 5, while the final real exam was of the level 4 out of 5. And you need to have 65% or more in the final exam. Correct? Okay, so next. Yeah, this is very important exam day tips because I found that the applicant should be fresh and should be energetic before the exam because this exam will take lots of your understanding. Many questions will be negatively written that which of the following is not true, and in the options also there will be negative options that no, no, no will be there. So you need to understand and you need to focus, right? So go through these exam day tips definitely. So before your exam, what will happen is your login starts exactly at your scheduled slot. For example, if your exam is at 10 a.m. on March 10th, you won't be able to log in earlier. Stay calm and fresh until then. Proctoring and exam setup. So once logged in, you will be connected to a proctor who will check your surroundings, inspect your laptop for suspicious applications. I had AnyDesk application installed in my PC and I had to remove it. So I had to go through the login process again. So the key setup rules are like you can use a table and chair setup, but nothing inside the desk. No reading materials in drawers, but groceries inside drawers are fine. Choose a quiet place with minimal distractions. Ideally, position the door behind you so the proctor can see if anyone enters. Keep your mobile phone at a distance. You can keep mobile phone at a distance with you because you may need to contact proctor and they allow it, but it should be visible and reachable, but not with you near the laptop. That is the thing that proctor will also check. Next is the critical Chrome settings issue I faced. One major issue I encountered was I had disabled third-party cookies and page directions, which blocked me from accessing the exam platform. So please remember to change these settings in the Chrome. And solution, make sure these settings are enabled before your exam to avoid last minute stress. So important note here is you won't be able to detect this issue while testing your device beforehand. This problem only comes up during the actual exam. So double check your browser settings in advance. Handling proctor delays. Because of proctoring delays, your actual exam might start later than expected and may end beyond your scheduled slot. Don't panic if this happens. Stay patient and focused. You will get 1 hour of delay time. For example, your exam is starting at 10 a.m. Then up to 11 a.m. you can start your exam. So the conclusion here, the final tips that I would like to share is summarization and final tips are: start reading the law textbook from chapter 4 to 20, skim other chapters, and similarly for ethics textbook, practice 500 questions from NPPE practice course. These 500 questions will cover up the ethics material and ethics textbook. So just skim through the ethics textbook afterwards. Don't spend too much time on it. Take the APEGA practice test 3 to 4 days before the exam. Gauge your readiness. Try to score above 80%, above 85%, and if you score it, then good enough. Check your system settings before exam day to avoid technical delays. Remember, here two main things are: try to understand the concepts. Don't mug up anything. They won't ask anything which you have to remember, like day or year or something. Just maintain the concepts. And the other thing is that see that all the settings are okay for the exam day to avoid technical delays and also to remain fresh and not get nervous. So, if you follow these strategies, you will be well prepared to pass the NPP exam with confidence. And thank you so much and good luck with your NPP exam.